Thomas here with Much Props, going to give you another how-to video. Today I am making something traditional Halloween. Now typically when we think of jack-o'-lanterns we think of pumpkins, but in actuality the originals were carved out of turnips and potatoes, and there's an Irish folklore that goes along with this story about a man named Stingy Jack. So I thought it would be fun to show you how to carve something out of foam and also tell you the tale of Stingy Jack and his run-in with the devil. So without further ado, let's make a jack-o'-lantern turnip. Let's get to building. So for this build, I wanted to narrate it a little differently than normal. I'm gonna do the entire overview of what I'm doing here in this first clip so that I can tell the tale of Stingy Jack. I stacked 48mm EVA foam into blocks, carved out the basic shape with a box cutter, and then glued it all together. I glue it together with contact cement, roughly carve the rest of the shape into what vaguely resembles a turnip, and then sand the outside with a rotary tool. I made a lip using the cutoff of the top as the base for the lid piece, and then just rounded over the top of another piece to glue to that. Then I carved out the eyes, nose, and mouth through the foam and added nails for the handles to eventually attach to. I coated it in Plasti-Dip, and once I primed it with a transition of purple, browns, and greens, I slopped on some washes of acrylic paint mixed with water to dirty it up. After the paint job is done, I burrowed out a hole in the bottom of the turnip to sit a fake LED tea light in, and then tied a piece of dirty string around the nails. Now the rest of this narration will be the tale of Stingy Jack. Sit back and enjoy. Gather close, but mind the shadows, for the story I'm about to tell is not for the faint of heart. It's a tale older than the graves that line the Irish hills, a tale whispered by peat fires and carried on the winds that howl through the bog. Some say speaking his name invites him near. Others claim on nights when the mist runs thick and lanterns burn low, his ghostly light still drifts across the moors, searching, forever searching. So if you've courage enough to listen, stay quiet. Do not laugh, do not look away, for this is the story of a man so wicked he cheated the devil himself and paid the price for all eternity. This is the legend of Stingy Jack and the Devil's Lantern. They say in the old country, in the damp, misty-shrouded fields of Ireland, there once lived a man so wicked, so mean of spirit and black of heart, that even the priest refused to pray for him. His name was Stingy Jack. Jack was a drunk, a cheat, and a liar. He'd steal the pennies from a widow's plate and laugh about it to their face. By day, he loitered in taverns. By night, he stumbled through graveyards, and the locals whispered that Jack's soul had gone so foul, hell itself would come a-calling. And one moonless night, it did. As the fog rolled thick over the road, Jack saw a shadow standing beneath a gnarled yew tree, tall, thin, and eyes glowing like coals in the night. The air turned sharp and cold as death itself.
"Stingy Jack,"
came a voice that rasped like burning embers.
"your time has come."
The devil had come to claim what was his, but Jack, wicked though he was, still had a tongue of a trickster. He bowed low, pretending calm.
"Well now, if it's my time, it's my time. But surely before we go, you'd not deny a man his last drink."
The devil grinned, loving a bit of mischief himself, and together they walked into the nearest tavern. They drank until the candles burned low and the shadow crawled along the walls. But when the barkeep came for the payment, Jack patted his pockets and sighed.
I don't have any coin to my name, but perhaps you, my infernal friend, could pay the tab. Turn yourself into a silver piece, just for a moment, and I'll pay the man.
The devil, amused, snapped his clawed fingers and whoosh, with a puff of sulfur, turned into a shiny coin that clinked upon the counter. But before the barkeep could blink, Jack snatched up the coin and dropped it into a battered leather purse, where he'd hidden a small silver cross. The moment that holy metal touched the devil's skin, there came a hiss like water on fire. The purse withered and shook in Jack's hand, and a terrible voice shrieked from within. Jack only laughed.
Now,
He said,
no need for temper. I'll set you free if you swear to leave me for 10 years long. Not a whisper, not a claw, not a cinder in my path.
The devil, choking on his rage, was forced to agree. And with that, Jack opened the purse and let the sulphurous smoke escape into the night. And so the devil vanished, bound by his words, leaving Stingy Jack alone beneath the cold stars, clutching his battered purse and laughing like a madman. For 10 years long, hell could not touch him. And in those 10 years, Jack made sure the world would never forget his name. He drank more than ever, his laughter echoing down the cobbled streets long past midnight. He cheated every man he met, swindling farmers out of their harvest, gamblers out of their gold, even priests out of their faith. He was a shadow in the taverns, a whisper at the crossroads, a man everyone feared, yet no one dared confront. They said he sold fake relics to pilgrims, bits of bone and rusted nails he claimed were holy. He'd bless them with mock prayers, then toast their foolishness with stolen whiskey. And when the storms came and the crops failed, the villagers swore it was Jack's doing, that his laughter was carried on the thunder and his eyes gleamed in the light. As the years passed, his heart grew colder than the coins he had hoarded. He took joy in cruelty, turning neighbors against neighbors, mocking the poor, and spreading lies just to watch others burn. He walked like a man untouched, one who'd beaten both heaven and hell at their own game. But deep in the night, when the winds moan through the hedges and the fire burns low, even Jack would wake trembling. For some time in the silence, he could smell sulphur on the breeze and hear a low, patient chuckle echoing from the dark beyond his door. The devil was watching. The devil was waiting. The devil returned, waiting for him one night upon a lonely road lit only by a dying moon.
Your time's run out, Jack.
The devil growled. Jack only grinned, showing his big yellow teeth.
Well then,
He said,
I won't fight what's due. But before we go, would you be so kind as to fetch me an apple from that fine tree? My throat is as dry as a bone, and I want to enjoy one last thing here on earth.
The devil, impatient but prideful, climbed the gnarled old apple tree, its branches twisted like skeletal fingers reaching for the stars. But the moment he was among the leaves, Jack carved a cross deep into the bark below. The air turned still. The devil howled, trapped once more by the cursed symbol. Jack leaned on his walking stick and laughed until the night birds fled.
You'll take me to hell nor ever again. Swear it, or I'll hang you there till Judgment Day.
And so the devil, seethingly furious, swore that he would never accept him into hell. Jack scraped the cross from the bark and let him go. The echoes of Jack's laughter followed the Prince of Darkness all the way to the underworld. After tricking the devil a second time, Jack walked away from the apple tree laughing, a harsh, hollow sound that carried through the mist. He'd beaten hell twice, and that pride festered like rot in his soul. He bragged in taverns that the devil was his servant, that no curse nor claw could touch him. But folk began to avoid him. Livestock sickened when he passed, and fire dimmed when he drew near. Children whispered that his shadows didn't move like it should, sometimes walking the other way. With no fear left in him, Jack's cruelty deepened. He tricked travelers out of their coin and led others astray into the fog, mocked the dying, and claimed he was too clever for heaven or hell. But in the dark, when the wind moaned across the field, Jack would sometimes wake to the scent of sulfur and the sound of soft, distant laughter. The devil hadn't forgotten. He knew his time was coming. It may not be his hand to take him, but time would be his enemy. And so the years crawled by until one cold, dark night, Stingy Jack's heart was finally at an end, leaving his cold body and soul unwelcomed in either world. He stood before the gates of heaven, but St. Peter's face was like stone.
There's no place for people like you up here, Jack. Go away.
So Jack descended to the fiery gates of hell, but the devil himself barred the way.
Oh no,
he hissed, grinning widely.
We struck a bargain, you and I. You find no rest here either.
Then where do I go?
Jack pleaded. The devil tossed him a single burning coal plucked from the flames.
Light your way, Jack,
he said,
for you'll wander between worlds forevermore.
Jack began walking down the road into the darkness and stumbled upon a turnip. He hollowed it out with his knife and placed the ember from hell inside. The flickering glow cast shadows across his hollow face as he began to walk through the bogs and the moor, through the graveyard and the fog, never resting, never dying. And on dark autumn nights, when the wind howls across the fields, the Irish still tell of the wandering soul known as Jack of the Lantern, his cursed light bobbing through the mist, forever searching for a place to call home and rest his head. So when you see a pumpkin's grin, or maybe a turnip or potato, glowing in the dark, remember that it burns in memory of him, Stingy Jack, the man who tricked the devil twice. Jack's wit may have won his freedom, yet doomed him to wander forever, a reminder that no bargain can outsmart fate itself. In the end, Jack's greatest punishment wasn't hellfire, but the eternal emptiness he created for himself. And we are finished. Here is the end result. Overall, not too difficult of a build. You could definitely carve this out of an actual turnip, or if you wanted to, go to like a hobby store and see if you could find those foam vegetables for like display and carve it out of that. I wanted something a little bit bigger probably than what is offered, and something that I had materials on hand with, and it was kind of easy. Maybe you will try and make one of these yourselves and impress your friends with your ability to pull something from an Irish folklore, bring it into the current day real world, and I don't know, maybe make it creepier than a pumpkin. Yeah. Maybe you'll get some. Yay! And inevitably, they're going to ask you, how'd you make that? You can give them one of these. Tell them, much props. I guess one thing to learn about making deals with the devil, he's always going to mess you over somehow. Peace out. If you enjoy what I do here on YouTube and you want to see more builds like this one, please consider joining these awesome people listed here with me over on my Patreon to build a bigger, better, more creative community together.